Welcome back, everybody. We had the Easter break. Hope you've all gotten some nice candy and the Easter bunny and Jesus came back to life and all those good things happened for you. I'd like to welcome back my co-host Tristan, aka Shotgun Seat Productions,
AKA
Doge,
something,
aka your favorite bongo player, aka
AKA is already in your mom's house.
aka Retro Virtue. That went a whole different direction, but alright. And you know, there must be something going on with like the full moon or like the half moon or like some kind of energy where like the planet is on its axis or something because you know, it was one of those weeks where it's been a quiet, dull week for gaming, and then all of a sudden Fridays just explodes with stuff. I mean, yesterday we had the Call of Duty teaser, but that wasn't
No one cares about that.
it kind of took a day for people to analyze what they put out, to be honest. Like, we didn't really realize that there's definitely zombies until pretty much today. Like, some of the stuff they put in the trailer yesterday, people were like, it's probably zombies. But an actual description was leaked by Activision onto their site about Black Ops 3, and it says Black Ops 3 is the first title for next-gen hardware in the critically acclaimed Black Ops series. Developed by Treyarch, the award-winning creator of the two most played games in Call of Duty history, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 deploys players into a dark, twisted future where a new breed of Black Ops soldier emerges and the lines are blurred between our own humanity and the technology we created to stay ahead. In a world where cutting-edge military robotics define warfare. With three unique game modes, campaign, multiplayer, and zombies, providing fans with the deepest and most ambitious Call of Duty ever. Well, they say that every time, and it's not usually true. But zombies,
No, this one's actually developed for the next gen hardware, but I want to get you anyone's hopes up.
yeah, as opposed to Ghosts in Advanced Warfare, which were just sort of smacked on there, I guess. But the Advanced Warfare Zombies is alright. And in Ghosts, I enjoyed the alien mode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty much sick of the multiplayer competitive mode. And I've heard that it's pretty much guaranteed there's gonna be some sort of exosuits in this new one, which I don't
No
think
one wants that.
I don't think that's gonna go very well, personally. But I'm if I end up getting a copy from PR, I will play the zombies stuff the most, and I'll play through the campaign. But if I don't get one from PR and somebody I know doesn't game share, I'm probably never gonna end up experiencing this because I don't have GameFly right now anymore. So chances of me actually playing this, I mean maybe I could bootleg just for the campaign, but I doubt it. I highly doubt that's even worth my time to play it.
Black Ops 2 had a pretty, uh, I mean, it was better than like okay. It was probably like in overall like 7.5 out of 10 story.
True.
Way better than the original Black Ops, which I thought was terrible.
And they're
But
better than, in my opinion, they're better than the Modern Warfare games. But,
yes,
so I'm being a little harsh, but it's just because with being number one, you have such potential. You kind of should be judged harshly, But oh well.
really GTA is number one. Come on.
Of course, I meant in FPS, but you're right. GTA took the crown. But Witcher 3 Wild Hunt got some official gameplay footage today, and it was a pretty sweet ass little like dev diary gameplay type of thing, just like GTA 5 got, where they talked about all the different features, and I did a write up on that as well. It seems like they're definitely going totally adult, and maybe even trying to push some buttons. Like they were talking about, there's even racism, and then you seen like everybody's white, I think, or something like that. But
No, they had some dude. He was talking shit. He goes, "You're a female elf, you bitch." He said something like that.
oh right, yeah, there was some. I don't know. There were some dudes that were like different races than each other, but they didn't explain like what the races are. And there was just a bunch of like white dudes beating the shit out of each other, and then this old dude just looking at you, and he's like, "What?" or something like that. And they're
Some
like,
old dude says like he goes, "Want to get a drink, you cocksucker," or something.
"Yeah, that happened." There's a lot of cussing, a lot of swearing, and then they're like, "Even
I played
religion."
Witcher 2, and yeah, they show the religion part, and they show some dude burning alive, and then they have a weird they say you can participate in
Yeah, you
rituals,
can
and it's the
participate in
chick
rituals, and there's
was
like,
putting like blood in some other chick's mouth, and I was like, what the hell?
yep.
This game looks like so like pushed to the max of their limits.
I
Since
kind of like that. It makes me want to play. Does that make me bad?
no, I played The Witcher 2 and I thought that was pretty good, even though it wasn't open world. It was kind of more like story based, and there's like a few little side quests you could do.
This one,
But
if this,
this one's like all out. This is like they're
yeah,
like doing everything to max, open world, everything.
if this gameplay dev diary trailer thingy is to be believed, which based on the way they presented it and the footage that they showed when they said certain things, it seems totally believable. But if it is to be believed, this is going to be very open world. Like day and night cycles matter. If you kill a bunch
Change the
of
enemy behavior, and then if you when you kill enemies in certain areas, it will change things too.
right, like you could all of a sudden have like a bustling community of NPCs where before they were too scared to go there. And that's totally really cool cuz like imagine in Oblivion or something. I know that's not even close to the same game cuz this is way more high tech and fluid. But say
Oblivion's
in
bad, but
say not that yeah, of course, not that it's bad, but it's just older. But say you played that game and you went and killed a bunch of NPC, I mean, killed a bunch of creatures. They just come back as soon as you walk into one indoor room, you know? So it's really cool to have a persistent world in Witcher 3 where they're like, no, actually now some dudes are going to come in and be merchants on that land and or something like that. We don't know how far that's going to go. They were really kind of vague on that point. They just showed like some dudes walking towards one of the cities. That's not I don't understand. Like, they didn't really say is like, are they going to make new cities or are they just going to populate the cities that are already
they'll
there
probably like
more?
little communities. And I noticed that when they showed the dialogue option at one point where he was in the bar, it feels like they have a little bit more diversity. As they kind of it looks like they kind of add like a little timer thing at the bottom. That's kind of similar to what Telltale does. They only give you a certain amount of time to say something, or you could just choose to be silent, maybe. And
Interesting.
then
Did you see the?
I did
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You go.
Well, and then for example, he could say he could buy a drink for everyone, and I think it will take away gold from you, of course, but you get everyone off your ass because you get everyone drunk. Because based on my previous experience in the Witcher games, people don't like Witchers because they're basically mutated people, and
Right.
they're considered freaks, but no one really messes with them because they can fuck everything up for you. But some people have been dumb enough to mess with him, and you've had to kill him in the past, of course.
I get like a satanic vibe, but like it's a neutral character, but he's using like sort of magic that's
Well,
considered sort of evil.
yeah, like in in this game, they said they're gonna let you decide more on his personality. In The Witcher 2, there was a few things that were kind of decided for you. Of course, it kind of goes in touch with his just his monotone voice. I mean, it sounds kind of like Snake a little bit, but maybe not that iconic. But uh, they said yeah, based you kind of be able to choose maybe a little bit more how your character acts, maybe more similar to a Mass Effect game. That's how you kind of resembled how everyone sees you is the way you act in the game trilogy. That's
Right.
how everyone reacts to you, and then certain dialogue options are only possible by being a certain way or certain. In Mass Effect 3, some of the dialogue was more auto send it out, but based on what path you chose was what you said, and that seems kind of similar to this because I noticed there is still there's auto dialogue in The Witcher 3, so more than likely to be more quest specific or probably go along with
Hmm.
of course, how your character is, because they said you get to decide, which the extent of that we don't know, but it looks like it's definitely going to be more extensive than how you could decide in The Witcher 2, and I'm not sure about The Witcher 1 due to the fact I never played it, but
So that's pretty much it for Witcher 3 for now. It was a nice chunk of extra information and sweet high definition gameplay. You can see it on RealGamerNewz.com. The release date is May 19th, and I'm sure we're going to get more information about that because it's a huge budget game. Let's see what else happened this week. There was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will receive 2 paid expansions. I'm going to be honest, I don't even want to know or think about that right now. I hate when they announce DLCs before they're even out.
well, originally they said they were only releasing free DLC, where they had like 16 DLC packs, but I guess
Uh,
expansion. I guess they consider DLC and expansions more separate.
all
But
right, two paid expansions. Yeah, okay.
they're not
They're
like
going
shitty
back to the computer
DLCs.
type of days.
Yeah, because they're more PC devs. They even have said kind of shit towards consoles a little bit, even though they're developing for them. But
Batman Arkham Knight novel tie-ins get new release dates. So if you wanted to read the Riddler's Gambit or the official novelization, that will be June 21st for the novelization and June 23rd for the Riddler's Gambit. Those are only $8 each on paperback. And of course, the game's coming out June 23rd on PS4, Xbox One, PC, as well as Witcher 3 is for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
May 19th, correct?
Yes, May 19th for The Witcher 3. And the Batman game just recently got delayed for that date, but that's okay. A really shitty trailer that I didn't even think was worth putting on the site came out from GameStop today with really horrible voice acting from Mortal Kombat X pre-order skin for Scorpion, and the skin didn't even look good either. That was just pathetic. I think GameStop's pre-order DLCs are on the way out.
They're all like skins and stupid shit like that. Like get the extra John Marston Law Hunter outfit that you can buy about 2 months down the road for about $2 instead of
Yeah,
pre-ordering $5 extra to get it.
purely
Well, who
ridiculous.
fuck you? Give us money.
Purely ridiculous stuff. Mortal Kombat X launched on mobile today, which nobody probably is going to play it, but it's actually impressive for a mobile game. So if you have like an iPad or something like that, that's pretty much the lead platform is iPad, which
I
don't
noticed it's
I
not
don't
out on
play.
Android yet.
Yeah, I don't play iOS, but I don't really like iOS. But if you have one and you want to play an actual fighting game on your mobile, I don't know if you would, but if you want to, the option is there. And let's see, the Evil Within second DLC, which is called The Consequence, got 2 screenshots, which that's not really like a huge deal to me to only have 2 screenshots. But here's some information. Uh, Posted on the game's official page, Julie Kidman armed with her flashlight and a mysterious item. They're also accompanied by following oddly captioned words. Kidman continues where she left off, with lots of new toys for her to play with. One of these looks like some type of glow stick, but it's probably more like a stun baton or something. The Evil Within the Consequence DLC will release on April 22nd, 2015 for PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. We have a review for the first DLC, The Assignment, on RealGamerNewz.com, and we will have a review for the second one as well, because Bethesda gave our reviewer the season's pass for that, which is a rare moment, since Bethesda were kind of hit or miss with them in terms of if we're getting along or not that week. But, you know, it's a love-hate thing when people make such a great game and then they become like a huge corporation. And we don't really pull any punches. And I just want to really quick thank them for allowing us to continue uncensored, and all the other companies, big and small, that, you know, they know we talk shit about them when we feel like we need to, but they keep working with us. So that's kind of cool. The Technomancer got announced today. I don't know if you had time to check that out, but I wrote an article about that about an hour ago. That's a fresh off the presses. Here's a link. Fresh off the presses. The Technomancer announced for PS4, Xbox One, and Windows PC. Cyberpunk theme meets post-apocalyptic setting. And by the way, there's people online saying this isn't cyberpunk. But I got curious and I looked up the actual definition of cyberpunk, and here's what it is. Cyberpunk is a subgenre of science fiction in a future setting, noted for its focus on high-tech and low life. It features advanced science, such as information technology and cybernetics, coupled with a degree of breakdown or radical change in the social order, such as government. Cyberpunk plots often center on conflict among artificial intelligence megacorporations and tend to be set in the future of Earth or a far-off setting such as Mars, which that's where this is one is set.
So kind of like Deus Ex a little bit.
Exactly, and that's what people were saying. How come nothing can get this genre right except Deus Ex? But when I when I look at this game, it's got a lot to do with Mars Warlogs, but the company has come so far since then, technologically speaking, that they kind of don't consider it a sequel, really. It sort of takes place in the same universe, but here's some of the details about the game. The Technomancer brings a science fiction approach to defining the source of electricity based powers, which remains somewhat mysterious to the characters involved in the struggle against injustice. Okay? The Technomancer brings players through an ordeal which pits them against a covert martial force on Mars, known as the Secret Police, in the midst of an ongoing war. Players must make use of branching dialogue choices, crafting weapons and equipment, as well as engaging in intense combat while gaining allies to fight by their side along the way. And this is what I wrote based on a huge press release that I swiddled down, and plus putting in lots of hours on their previous games, which, like I said, it's based on. Like the whole time you're playing you're playing the game, the Technomancers are like the bad guys that are in control of like corrupt government stuff on Mars, and now you're gonna play as a Technomancer, but you're still sort of like I think you're pretty much have a clear enemy, and it's the Technomancer and the corruption and stuff. But they also are given 5 different endings, and they haven't really revealed everything. So it goes further, my article, to say eventually uncovering the secrets behind the cybernetic slash magical technology is perhaps one of the keys to gaining the power to overthrow all that is wrong with the establishment on Mars, as players take the role of the Technomancer themselves. So now you'll be playing as, I mean, a Technomancer, not the. There's multiple. There's like people with cybernetics, and most of them are enslaved, but they're like, the Illuminati, the high level politician, the people in power enslaved, but who are they enslaved to? What's the powerful forces behind it, the political agendas behind it, and what are you going to do about it? And then it may come down to choices, because they're saying that there's rewards and paths based on player choice, and there's a full-fledged inventory system, 3 different fighting styles. You can recruit companions that each have full backstory, and besides that, we don't really know much. There's a lot of creatures and conflicted neutral opponents that you can kind of decide what to do with them. You may be able to talk things through sometimes, and sometimes you might have to fight and die and kill. And that's pretty much it. If you want to know more information, go to RealGamerNewz.com, look at our article, and there's a official mailing list sign up at the technomancer-game.com. But if you don't know how to spell that, just go to RealGamerNewz.com and you'll find it in our article. And Devolver Digital, the guys that made Olli, right? Roll 7.
Yes.
Well, for Devolver Digital, they got another game coming out, and it's called Not a Hero. Have you heard of that one yet?
I can't say I have.
It's pretty
Sounds
crazy.
intriguing by the title.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's like...
Remember that game, No More Heroes?
Yeah, I think I do.
That was a really sweet game. It's probably really cheap now. I suggest everyone goes and picks it
Oh,
up,
right, this one. From Grasshopper Manufacture. This is one of the more artistic games. I didn't get a chance to play that one. It ended up coming out on PS3, like totally remastered and stuff.
Yeah, I heard everyone says the Wii version's better though, because it's more design. It's like literally designed for that.
True,
control.
but the PS3 version is uncensored.
That is also true.
So, but either way, I did hear that as one of the reasons to get a Wii though, and it was like people were like importing it. I remember now. But yeah, this game is kind of like 2.5D, but like 2D. It's somewhere in between the two, because it's not that much depth as like a 2.5D, but like you can snap to cover really quick. And it's basically, there's a dude called Bunny Lord. He wants to be the mayor. And in order to become the mayor, he has you, which you can play as 9 different characters, but you basically, no matter who you are, I'm pretty sure you're like the campaign manager of his affairs, trying to get him voted in office. And the way you do that is by crazy murdering. You just go through and murder all the crime people, but you're like a vigilante, a renegade, whatever. So you have to shoot like SWAT teams that are against you and stuff like that too, and like shoot down
Sounds like
helicopters.
Hotline Miami, kinda.
It's a way different graphics setup and gameplay setup, but it does have a similar like badass retro graphics. I'm killing things for the sorta cause of good type of vigilante feel. So yeah, but it's very different at the same time. It's coming out in May 7th, 2015. It's for now it's just on Steam, this particular game. But I don't see any problem with that. I like how they have the different strategy, Devolver Digital, where they publish some games on console and then they publish some games on Steam. And Rule 7 just did Olli Olli 2 only on the PlayStations for now. It'll probably get on Steam eventually. And so now they're putting out a Steam only game, which is probably going to go on consoles eventually. So it's kind of cool how they play both sides like that. I like that. And I actually played this at PAX East, and I can tell you from the time I played it, which was about a year ago, to now, oh my god, the changes, this game has come a long way. It really has. You may not be able to notice if you didn't go there and play it at that time, but I can definitely tell you it's different. And also I can tell you that I hope they put a demo out or something, because people really, you can't really understand how it feels until you actually play it. Just looking at the video is not the same for this particular game. I kind of reminds me of Elevator Action, the way the levels are designed, but the way you run through them is not anything like that. It's way more fast-paced, like a James Bond, like jumping through windows and smashing through windows, and then you throw grenades and you're shooting and then you grab cover, and it's like very fast-paced. It's cool shit, man. It's crazy. You take a look at that one.
Yes, looks dope.
Word. So, with any luck, we may be able to get a couple of review copies or maybe even preview copies of that. Yeah, I don't. There's no co-op as far as I know, but just
Definitely got me intrigued.
just so we can take two looks at it. It's only going to be on Steam, like I said, but pretty much any computer will run that. So that's pretty much it. That's everything for the week that was worth mentioning, unless you have anything extra. I mean, there was a couple funny things that happened, but nothing newsworthy, I would say. Oh, wait.
Let's talk about that one MK Street Fighter thing.
Okay, we can talk about that, and then I do have something that's actually is newsworthy. But yeah, that Mortal Kombat Street Fighter thing was hilarious. Warner Brothers Interactive, or Warner WB Games, tweeted out that Mortal Kombat was the biggest fighting franchise of all time, and they were just hyping up the Mortal Kombat X release on.
Yeah, everyone says shit like that all the time whenever a game's gonna come out. You know.
That's what I told our deputy editor. I was like, the days of saying that I'm the biggest that, I'm the biggest this and that, those days are coming to an end soon because they're getting called out. He's told me that's the third time that somebody's been called out like that recently. That Nintendo also got called out like that recently, and so did Telltale Games, apparently. But those two had said their statement with technicality wording so that they could say that they were right. But Mortal Kombat WB, this is not NetherRealm's fault, by the way. This is just WB UK. They just came out and blatantly said we're the biggest fighting game franchise. They didn't put any technicalities. I told him, if they would have said we're the biggest fighting game franchise for mature audiences, then they could have got away with it, right?
Of course.
Because what happened is Capcom UK tweeted back to W Games UK and was like cough cough, oh really, type of thing. Because Street Fighter obviously sold more copies than Mortal Kombat.
Because there's a fucking million Street Fighter games though at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned that too, and I also mentioned to be the number one fighting game is really nothing because Grand Theft Auto outsells every Street
Both
Fighter
of them
with
combined.
Yeah, with one game. Well, no, not both of them combined with one game. I was gonna say one GTA game outsells every Street Fighter ever made, pretty much. Because every Street Fighter ever made adds up to only 39 million copies. They have a Guinness World Record for it, and that's counting every crossover. So you know those ones that came out on the Wii that not that many people have, and then
There's so many like little shitty Street Fighter games out there, and Street Fighter 4 was bad.
It's counting all the
so was
mobile
Street Fighter
games
3.
too.
Yeah.
and all
So
the
what basically
spin-offs.
what they say
Capcom
doesn't really
releases
matter.
tons of shit. And it counts Marvel vs. Capcom, and it counts Street Fighter X Tech. It counts every single thing. And then they got 39 million copies. Whereas Mortal Kombat has stuff like that too, but not as
Not
much.
really. They
They
just
do. No,
rebooted.
they
They just
do.
rebooted a couple of years ago because they hadn't made a game for a
Yeah, but
while.
they had a crossover or two. They've
Yeah,
had
they did have
and
MK
they've
versus
had some
DC, which was
and they've
pretty
had
shitty.
some re-releases, and they've had some mobile games and shit. They've had some shit too. But obviously Capcom pimps to the max. They pimp out their games, and not like in a good way like Pimp My Ride, but more like you're pimping out a hooker.
Yeah, we've all seen what they've done with Resident Evil and all their other franchises. Mega Man, they have like fucking a million different versions of every game, so you buy it two or three times if you're an idiot.
Right, right. That's one of their big tricks. And with Street Fighter, they definitely abused it hardcore.
Oh yeah. Oof.
So, anyways, but that happened. It was kind of hilarious to see Capcom and WB Games like arguing over sales, though. That was funny. But I still think if you would have say Mortal Kombat has the most mature fighting game sales, then they would win. Nothing even competes.
Street Fighter appeals to like all audiences
It's
basically.
rated T for teen,
Yeah, so
and Mortal Kombat is not.
Mortal Kombat's rated M for mature,
So
and
therefore, if you would make that argument, Mortal Kombat could get away with that, but they didn't do that, so they got made fun of and people laughing at him. But I kind of wonder if this was just like half staged, but I don't think it was. But I always wonder with stuff like this. You know, if they just did that just for to give Street Fighter some attention, maybe they feel bad for Capcom because they're broke.
oh, why? There's no reason to feel bad for them. They're scumbags.
Well, I mean, they haven't been making good games in a long time. The last really super good game for me with them was Remember Me and Resident Evil 5.
You remember me was just a one-off too, so
Yeah, and it wasn't really that. I mean, it was great, but
it was really good. It's just the only issue I have with it is some of the puzzle type shit is kind of
yeah,
dumb. But
yeah, it fucked up the flow.
yeah, it's like really good like action adventure, and then you got really cool platforming put into it, and then you have these like puzzles in the middle that are like really shitty.
Yeah,
Kind of what happened to Uncharted, the first one
I hope
and the
Capcom
third
makes
one.
a comeback. I never got a chance to play Dead Rising 3 yet.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Dead Rising 3 was great. Probably the best in the series, but
I just hope that they can rebound and start making more quality games again. They need to listen to their fans, all these Japanese companies, but that's another talk for another day. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Um, the piece of news that I do have to close it out is I tweeted H1Z1 game today, and I asked him, is the PS4 version of the game still coming? Because, you know, the creators of the game are no longer Sony Online Entertainment. Now they're Daybreak Games Studios, right? So
yeah.
I asked them, is this game still coming to PS4? And they said yes, eventually it is. And we're still on alpha and PC. So I told them, hey, you know, that's good. Just keep working with the community. I'm happy you guys are doing that. And thank you for the confirmation. Now we just have to hold them to that. I mean, no rush. Don't get me wrong. By the time it gets to PS4, it has to be really, really good. Because console people are not like early access Steam people. They're not just going to be like, oh, alright. Even though it's going to be free to play, as far as I know. But, and right now it's not. You have to buy it on PC because you're helping pay for the development, you know? But that might change now that they're not Sony. They might need the money. It might not be free to play. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, Sony's not that hard to get in if you have an existing audience already and a high quality game that they consider like high tech, which 3D games definitely qualify for that as long as their graphics are alright, you know? And they have enough gameplay mechanics. But what do you think about that? Are you happy to hear H1Z1 will someday eventually still come on PS4? Because I was starting to worry that now that they're not Sony, is that not going to happen now? It's going to be PC only, but they said, nah, it's going to be on PS4 when it's ready. What do you think?
I honestly don't care.
You don't care about H1Z1?
No, it's just another zombie game.
I don't know, man. It looks really intriguing to me. I know it's just another zombie game, and like when I look at DayZ and the Arma
Not
2,
saying all zombie games are bad, but I'm just kind of burnt out. I feel like when you're talking about because zombies kind of like its own subgenre on its own. I feel like when you're talking about the two most milk things, or actually the three most milk things out there are GTA clones, FPS games, and zombie games.
well, yeah, but the thing about okay, see, here's the thing about H1Z1 and games like it. Nobody has completely finished one of those type of games yet. All the games are either mod or early access, or they came out but they're shitty and they're not done anyways, and they need updates. So that's why it's like with GTA clones, okay, you can turn around and you can say, "Fuck that, I'll just play GTA." And then with what was the other one you said? FPS games.
Yeah,
You could that genre's just fucked in a lot of ways, but if you really really want to, you can go back in time, you can play certain older games like Duke Nukem and shit like that if you can stomach the graphics and Shadow Warrior. But when it comes to like the sandbox zombies game, except for like a few exceptions like State of Decay, there's really nothing for the most part. Like Fortnite never came out. You know, Call of Duty is not a real sandbox game. It's just little fun little throwaway matches and then you stop playing because it's repetitive. It's not the same as this genre. And then like there's a million billion like half Minecraft, half State of Decay like pieces of shit games that had like huge potential, but they just never finished them correctly on Steam. And so it just makes people hungry. And you know, and when I look at DayZ and I look at the mod of DayZ on Arma 2, and I just want to play them, but I know that they're not like fluid, fun factor, gameplay design, fast to get in, fast to get out type of. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not streamlined for fun. And H1Z1, every time I see the impressions from the reviewer we have previewing it, and every time I watch YouTubers playing it, it just looks like it's streamlined for fun. It
that's cool, I guess.
it does look fun. I mean, I'm gonna eventually just buy it and find out, but it's just I haven't just put down the dollars for it yet, you know. And I'm not really cheap about games. It's just when I have the money, I'll do it. But I'm rebuilding another machine here in a second, so probably won't be anytime soon. If I was smart, I would just keep this machine how it is and buy a bunch of games. But you know, priorities and such. Got to render those YouTube videos faster. That I'm hearing the new parts I'm gonna get are gonna render videos in 2 minutes that are like half an hour long. So
Sexy.
yeah. Plus I gotta try and see if I can be ready for virtual reality, which I'm not gonna bore everybody with that because this particular podcast probably isn't gonna be viewed by a bunch of PC people. But if you are on PC, then you probably already know because everybody's know-it-alls, aren't they? Just kidding. We love
Has
all
a high
platforms.
tech PC. Brags about it on Facebook all day.
Right?
I see a lot of people like that.
Facebook Master Race. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, there were some kids today. I gotta add this in really quick, and they were like all like on a little group circle, and they're all chanting "PC Master Race." And my friend looks at me and he goes, all right. He goes, I know that one kid has a fucking laptop, so he's a fucking idiot.
Wow. Yeah, laptop is not PC Master Race, people. I'm sorry. Unless you spent like 3 to 7 grand, you don't have a Master Race laptop. I'm sorry. In fact, I'm one of the type of people that tell you just don't get one. Period. If you're trying to get a gaming machine, because to me, a PC Master Race laptop pretty much doesn't exist. Like you could get a Falcon Northwest, and nowadays they probably have cheaper models, but if you want a real Falcon Northwest, you're talking like $3,500, And I would argue that the parts are probably still not good enough. They probably found like a shitty part to throw in there somewhere, but that's all going to change soon, Tristan. They're working on ways to build your own laptop now, and I mean like mainstreamed to the point where it's going to be like PCs where everybody can do it.
Good.
And yeah, and that's going to be amazing, but that's not going to be like happening in a large degree for like at least 5 more years, I would guess. As far as like being cheap, being mainstream, being good parts and all that. You know what? Since we're talking tech, I'll throw in one last thing. A few weeks ago, they made a blind man see with a headset, sort of like the virtual reality ones, but obviously way more high tech than that, right? And today, they made a deaf man hear. Imagine that, just from technology that goes on your head, like vibrations. They can feel people talking as a vibration, and then their brain interprets it as sound, even though they can't hear through their ears. How crazy is that? There's some other crazy science things from today, from this week in tech, but maybe we should start a thing where we do that as a separate podcast and we talk about those things. But I don't want to drag this on too long. But I'll say one more thing, which I'm super excited for. Here's this. In a major breakthrough, scientists at Stanford develop new, ultra-fast charging, cheap, and safe aluminum battery which outperforms lithium batteries in every way possible. So, I don't know how long that's going to take to come to mass market. Hopefully 10 years or less. And then no more charging your phone every single day. No more charging your PS4 controller every 4 hours. So, man, that can't not come fast enough. I hope that comes in like 2 years, but who knows? I really don't know. I have no idea. I could never guess. I don't know. Like, some stuff I thought was going to take forever came fast, and some stuff I thought was going to come fast takes forever. So, I don't know, but that's this week, everybody. We're back from hiatus, whether you like it or not. Real Gamer News and Shotgun Seat Productions.
Vice.